Hi everyone, I'm Sean O'Kane and welcome to Chip Estimate TV, where we bring you the latest trends and information on IP, semiconductor design, events, and the latest IoT trends in the EDA industry. My guest today is that world traveler, Mr. John Blyler, right here, President and CEO of IP Systems and IoT Systems. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Sean. Always good to be here.
You're up there in beautiful San Francisco.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and I see John normally resides in Portland, and so I know that he's taken a little bit of time to do some extracurricular activities in the beautiful city,
Yes,
as we say.
in the sun.
Hey, let's get right to it. Last month, you were at the SPIE Photonics Show, and that was right where you're at, San Francisco.
That's right.
Did you see any cool technology there?
They always have a lot of cool stuff. The one thing, again, that kind of caught my eye was this spectral imaging. In the past, IMEC and others have been up there with their cameras, and now these cameras are kind of married together. So on a CMOS sensor, you'll get both a visual range camera and an infrared camera. And these are used in things like agricultural communities to see how the crops are doing. But also there's a small startup called Skyo, I believe, that has a little molecular scanner that you can point at food and you can figure out what kind of food it is, the nutritional content, things like that. It's pretty interesting.
Sounds like a Star Trek tricoder.
That's right.
Analysis, Spock, you're becoming quite emotional, Captain. Needless to say, my trained Vulcan mind.
I'm not a doctor,
I don't know where
Jim.
I went with that, ladies and gentlemen, but so this week, or just recently, excuse me, you were at DVCon in San Jose, and it was Mentor Graphics'
Yes.
turn to do the keynote. So did Wally Rhines mention anything of interest?
Well, you know Wally, he's always great on data and trends, so it was very informative. The one thing that stuck in my mind was a discussion of security and how that's playing more and more of a role in design and verification. And specifically, he mentioned, I believe it was called Beckstrom's Law.
Beckstrom's Law. So what? Now you're going to have to tell me, what is that law, and did I break it?
Yes, repeatedly, I'm sure.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
There are three parts to it. The first part is that everything that's connected to the internet can be hacked. The second part is that everything is going to be connected to the internet. And the third part then is everything follows from those first two laws. So security is going to be a big concern for the chip design folks and whatnot. And from a verification standpoint, in the past we'd say we need to verify to make sure that we got the requirements right. It does what it's supposed to. Now we have to say we're going to verify to make sure that the thing does not do anything it shouldn't do. Again, in terms of cyber attacks and whatnot.
Pretty cool. So let's keep going on regarding the standards, and how does the safety standards impact engineers developing electronics for one of our favorites, the automotive industry.
Like the automotive. So verification is a big part in that as well with the ISO standard 26262, a safety standard. And the impact is significant. It's going to impact both tools and the process, the way designers do that. And I was moderating a panel last week that had Daimler, that had semiconductor companies and system companies. And they were wrestling through this issue of how exactly are they going to do their designs to make sure that they are traceable and that safety is ensured in the tools as well as the design itself.
Well, yeah, that's a great point, because connected cars they're becoming more of a reality, and safety will be critical issues for the approval, regulatory approval. So can you talk a little bit more deeper on that?
Oh, wow. There's a lot to say there. I guess I would just say that, semantics a little bit here. The connectivity people, in both aspects, where it's connected to, the driver with interfaces and connected to other drivers and bystanders and whatnot. So, but also connected in the sense of autonomous, driving, where it would change lanes itself, where it would park itself and whatnot. And, I was thinking back a few years ago, we did a little bit when I had come back from Sonoma. And the Sonoma Raceway, the cars there are very connected, right? They wirelessly connected to sensors on the car and then back to the telemetry to the stations where people monitor everything. Well, consumer cars, though, like those for CES, we're talking more about maybe that's an accepted thing now, but we're talking about, does it park itself? Does it merge into traffic and all those kinds of things? So I guess returning to the raceway, I don't really think connected cars on the raceway that are, following each other nicely is going to be very exciting, but we'll leave that for consumers.
This is cool. Great stuff. And thank you for joining us again today as John travels all over and finds, the interesting technology to share with us and you, of course. So for Mr. John Blyler, my name is Sean O'Kane, and we'll see you next time on Chip Estimate TV. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Sean.